The Basement Dwellers podcast is brought to you by Player One Coffee.
At Player One Coffee, we're obsessed with gaming, coffee, and, well, gaming. Every one of our signature roasts is handcrafted and tasty as Get yours at playeronecoffee.com.
Plus, order your Player One Coffee through our affiliate link, and not only will you receive 5% off of your first order, you'll also help support our show in the process.
Press start to continue.
They are those who live in the shadows, who feed upon Doritos and Mountain Dew. They take comfort in their dark habitats as they watch reruns of sci-fi shows long past. They are the Basement Dwellers.
Show me what you got.
So say we all. So say we all. So say we all.
Indeed. Yes. This is a fertile land and we will thrive. We will rule over all this land and we will call it this land.
Make it so.
Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy far from sun. I want to believe.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of The Basement Dwellers, a bi-weekly podcast dedicated to all activities most enjoyed by those who spend their time in the deepest, darkest, and dankest of basements everywhere. I'm your host, Wes Tanner, and tonight we seek to regale you with tales of our past adventures and epic experiences in the land of high fantasy, sci-fi, and modern worlds. But first, we're going to hit you up with a trifecta of nerdiness with some nerdy news, followed by Nerdy Would You Rather, and ending with nerdy stories from our personal adventures of the imagination. I'm joined as always by my fellow basement dwellers, Nick, Ron, Drew, and Tucci at some point. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Great.
Doing great. So, We were just talking, it sounds like everyone's kind of not feeling the greatest.
I think I'm coming down with a cold, and I'm not really happy about it.
You live in 90-degree weather, though.
Yeah, but it's like 90 degrees and like sticky and moist. Yeah.
Moist.
Moist? Yeah.
It's moister than an oyster.
Ron, it's been a while since you've been on the show, man. You want to tell everyone what you have been up to in the past? I don't know. It's been a long time, actually.
At least 4 weeks since I've been on. I mean, I've been moving into a house. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been doing renovations, painting, redid the bathroom completely, and it's been something.
Yeah, something. Yeah, man, it looks good. Like you showed us the before and after pictures of the.
Oh yeah, it was like night and day in here.
Oh yeah,
I'm crashing in it.
Drew, what about you, man? Anything new?
No.
Nothing. Yeah, I know.
All I do is work.
Yeah.
Diabetic meetings.
Yeah.
Diabetics Anonymous.
I'm probably healthier.
What is it? Insulin Dependent Anonymous or something like that? I don't know.
You get your sacrificial knife and cut open a bag of sugar.
I knew it!
Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
Sacrifice it to the...
We snort sugar like cocaine and shoot Mountain Dew like heroin.
So I just cracked open last week a bottle of the beer that I had been brewing. I mean, it takes 5 or 6 weeks or so to brew, and I was telling you guys earlier, I'm very happy with it. I can't wait for you guys to try it because
it sounds really good.
It actually turned out Like that was really the best that I was hoping for, was that it just tasted right. Like I didn't even have to like it per se, but it just had to like.
Just has to not taste like shit.
Yeah. So also, what did I just watch? Oh, last weekend we went and saw The Meg, the giant shark movie.
I heard it was kind of meh.
It was. I mean, I liked it. We talked about it before, but they definitely, they were talking about having to kind of tame it from rated R down to PG-13, and they did, and you could tell. But it was.
But Jason Statham.
Yeah, he was actually really good in it.
Was he though?
I think so. I mean, it was a little bit outside of what I would normally think of what he would do. I mean,
he had to transport the Meg anywhere.
No, but he did. What did he do? Hold on. He did
hook himself up to jumper cables.
no, but he did do something pretty outrageous, like underwater.
Jason Statham do something outrageous?
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
So if you like Jason Statham and giant sharks, and especially if you're turned on by the idea of watching Jason Statham literally fight sharks or a big giant shark, then definitely check out The Meg.
Now it's time to see what's up in the world of nerdy news.
That was pretty good.
You were supposed to start there.
That was pretty good. Okay, so first up, and I had no idea they even did that before via Polygon, Amazon Prime's video game pre-order discount is coming to an end. Sad face. Amazon Prime's 20% discount on game pre-orders will go away on August 28th. That is passed already. The online retailer has announced. Instead, Prime members will receive store credit as an incentive to pre-order video games through Amazon, marking a major change to one of the membership's best benefits, for gamers anyway. Only pre-orders of select video games will come with the $10 store credit promotion, according to Amazon's terms and conditions for the offer. Once a customer has pre-ordered a qualifying item, they must wait up to 35 days to receive their $10 via email. The credit will only be valid for 60 days after activation. This is a surprising change to one of Amazon Prime's biggest benefits for console gamers. In January of 2016, the company unveiled the discount on both pre-orders and recent game releases, meaning Prime members could regularly get a deal on high-priority, big-budget titles, so long as they bought them early. Amazon Prime members aren't alone in losing their savings. Best Buy Gamers Club, which I had no idea that existed either, Unlocked, I guess, is a competing subscription service that came with a 20% discount on games, has also shut down earlier this summer. Best Buy's remaining membership program, My Best Buy, also gives buyers $10 in credit for pre-ordering certain popular games. Do any of you go to Best Buy anymore?
Oh, but Amazon's like taking away a bunch of their shit lately.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the world.
Prime's kind of like starting to get to be not worth the money.
Yeah, it's still worth it for me just because I get a student discount. I get it half off. I mean, the first 6 months I get it for free, and then after that it's half off, so it might still be worth it for people who are going to school, but I don't know. Aside from the 2-day shipping, which I go in spurts when it comes to Amazon, I'll buy a shit ton of stuff at once and then nothing for a long time. And then you just got, Amazon, the Prime Video or whatever. I like using that. That does have like some original series on it. Speaking
that's
of,
about all I use for Prime right now is video service.
Yeah, and if you're watching shit that you can find elsewhere, it's not worth it. But their originals are pretty good, like Man in the High Castle, and I just started the new Jack Ryan one, Tom Clancy.
Oh, is that with?
It's with Jim.
I haven't watched it yet.
Jim from The Office. Yep. It's pretty good.
That's right.
It's pretty good. I anticipate it being kind of like a Homeland. You guys have ever seen that?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Okay, well, you know what it is, but yeah, that's what I that's what I imagine it would be like. So, now in, I guess they'll have 3 chances to get it right via comicbook.com. Tom Hardy has already signed on for a Venom movie trilogy. Tom Hardy is getting his big superhero movie breakout with Venom this fall, but like so many other superhero movie stars, he's actually contracted for a much bigger franchise to follow. In a new report from Total Film magazine, Hardy confirms that he is in fact already signed on for an entire Venom trilogy. There seems to be a growing amount of momentum behind Venom as we head into the fall season. The official Venom trailer has more views than any Spider-Man movie Sony has ever put out, and recent projections suggest the film is going to break records on opening weekend in October. If Venom is indeed a success at the box office, then expanding the franchise into a trilogy will be all too easy. As is the case with so many superhero franchises, Marvel fans are almost more excited for what's to come in the Venom sequels than they are for what this first film's revised take on the character's origin. Of particular interest is Woody Harrelson, who appears in Venom in a mysterious cameo role, one that he's already teased could get much bigger in the Venom sequels. Many fans have taken that assertion as a clear hint that Harrelson is playing Venom's rival Cletus Cassidy, or Carnage, a reveal that would make Venom 2 an easy sell for most Marvel fans. Venom comes out to theaters in October the 5th. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. They would, I don't know, it makes sense. Makes sense that they would announce it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah, it's kind of overshadowed by the fact that my excitement right now lies in the new Predator movie coming out next weekend. So I have a hard time being excited for anything else right now, but I'll get there. I'll get there. Now on to some we asked for it, but where the fuck did this movie come from? Via GameSpot. Monster Hunter movie to star Resident Evil's Milla Jovovich. Yeah. A movie based on Capcom's Monster Hunter franchise is on the way. And now, I had no idea. And now we have learned more about it. We already knew Resident Evil series director Paul W.S. Anderson is attached to direct, and we now know that Milla Jovovich will star in the Monster Hunter film. Jovovich, who is married to Anderson, starred in all of the Resident Evil movies. According to Variety, the Monster Hunter movie will enter production in September this month with a reported budget of $60 million. The German production company Constantine, which also worked on Resident Evil, is also behind the Monster Hunter movie. The film will shoot in and around South Africa. Okay. Constantine boss Martin Moskowitz, there we go, told Variety that he thinks the Monster Hunter movie will be, quote, stylish, like the Resident Evil movies. There are no official plot details for the Monster Hunter movie yet, but Anderson previously spoke at a high level about what he thinks why he thinks the franchise is so appealing. Quote, "What I love about Monster Hunter is the incredibly beautiful, immersive world they've created. It's on the level of like a Star Wars movie in terms of world creation," he said. "There are no real central characters, so it's a bit like when we first approached Resident Evil and imposed our own characters and story on that world. I think this is a perfect intellectual property for us to do exactly the same thing again." Take that as you will, guys. There's no word yet on who else may star in the Monster Hunter movie or when it'll be released. First impression, I'm not really feeling good about that one.
I'm not either.
Like,
I fucking love Monster Hunter.
I know. It just... I don't know.
What are you talking about? Immersive world. It's an island. Like...
Yeah.
It's not
well, you're going to get immersed in the island.
Island, yeah.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from. This is they're starting it. They're starting it this month.
I love the game, and I don't see it translating to film.
No, there's some things you just need to leave be.
Or give it to the right people. And the best part
that
here,
too.
Where is it? Let's see. It's the last part of his quote. It says, There are no real central characters, so it's like when we first approached Resident Evil and imposed our own characters and story on that world. I think this is a perfect IP for us to do exactly that same thing again. So
wait a second.
Because there's no central characters in Resident Evil. I
know.
Remember otherwise.
I think essentially what they said was, if you hated Resident Evil, the movies, you're gonna hate this movie too.
Hate this.
Yeah.
So
That's a bummer.
we'll see. I don't know. I don't really have high hopes for that, but something I do have high hopes for. Lastly, and holy fuck knuckles, that's a big casting choice via IGN. Netflix's The Witcher casts Henry Cavill as Geralt. Henry Cavill has been cast to star in Netflix adaptation of The Witcher as lead character Geralt of Rivia, the streaming giant has announced. The series is based on the best-selling fantasy novel by Andrzej Sapkowski. I had to look up how to say his name because it's spelled a really weird way, but I did it. So it's Andre, but it's spelled.
Wait, that's the hard part?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, dude, it's Andrzej. How? Like, I mean, I get it now that I've heard it pronounced, but I mean, like,
it is weird, yeah.
You know. But
I thought
according
you talked about his last name.
Oh no. That was
Andre.
Yeah, it's like Andrzej. But according to Netflix, The Witcher is described as, quote, an epic tale of fate and family. Geralt of Rivia, a solitary monster hunter, struggles to find his place in a world where people often prove more wicked than beasts. But when destiny hurtles him toward a powerful sorceress and a young princess with a dangerous secret, the three must learn to navigate the increasingly volatile continent together. Cavill has also proven himself to be a big fan of both the games and Sapkowski's novels, telling IGN, "The books are amazing, I started reading and they are well worth a read." Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich will serve as showrunner on the 8-episode first season. It's funny that they decided to say first season, which implies there's going to be more, which is great. She previously worked on Marvel's Daredevil and The Defenders, as well as Netflix's upcoming adaptation of Gerard Way and Gabriel. Nobody cares about fucking Umbrella Academy. Whatever.
Hey, dude, Umbrella Academy was pretty fucking cool.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's already out then?
It's a comic book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a comic book. It's been out for a couple of years.
Well, I
Almost a
recognize.
decade, I want to say.
I recognize Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance, and that just makes me think it's not comic booky. And
No, it's actually pretty good.
okay, well, strike what I said. Drew says it's good.
You should
I'll give it a
check
chance.
it out.
Okay. Game of Thrones director and cinematographer Alex Sakharov will direct 4 episodes, including the pilot. Luke Cage-Helmer, Alex Garcia-Lopez, and Outlander director Charlotte Brandstrom will also direct 2 episodes each. That's a lot of really cool fucking talent for one season. This will be Cavill's first series regular TV role since his time on The Tudors from 2007 to 2010. No premiere date for the Witcher series has been announced, but it is expected to debut on Netflix in 2020. What do you guys think about Henry Cavill?
I've never actually played any of the Witcher games, so I don't really have much of an opinion here.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, I like Henry Cavill. I think he's great.
Yeah. I played the most recent game, and it was really intense, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And Henry Cavill, I think, would be a great choice for Geralt.
Yeah. See, I think he could pull off the look. But here's the other thing: is that the series is based on the books, not the video game, which I think a lot of people immediately are going to the video game for what everything should be, because that's probably what they're most used to. Because everyone's like me; they're savages who don't read. So, yeah. So I don't. I mean, obviously, I can't tell you what the books are like, except that everyone has said that the video games based on the books have been pretty damn faithful to how the books are. That's why they get such notoriety for being violent and, filled with nudity and violence.
Yeah,
and
all Superman
and Superman, all that great stuff. Yeah, Geralt's an excellent character too. So, it will really depend. The saving grace that Henry Cavill has is that he's a fan. So it could potentially be kind of like how Ryan Reynolds has approached Deadpool. Like he's that big of a nerd, so he could probably pull it off. So
I love when actors actually immerse themselves in the roles that they love to. When they actually do the reading and the research behind a role, and then they like become that character. That really makes their performance a lot better, I think.
Oh yeah.
It shows that they actually care about their craft and not just the money.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
It's good stuff. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break, and when we get back, we are going to play a small game of Nerdy Would You Rather. Stick with us.
Break.
We'll be back. Hey nerds, Wes here. Just wanted to give a quick rundown of some new things we've done for this season that you should definitely check out. First off, make sure to take a look at our newly redesigned website at www.tbdpod.com. And if you're already there, then great. Take a look at the show info where you'll find, you guessed it, info about the show. Things like episode archives, crew bios, how to join our Discord server, as well as ways you can subscribe to the podcast. Next, let me direct your attention to the Support the Show link where you can find some ideas on how you can help us keep the lights on. Help us out by buying some kick-ass coffee from Player One Coffee. Buy something from Amazon using our affiliate links, or hell, just treat yourself and us by becoming a TBD patron via our newly launched Patreon page. And as always, thanks for listening. Now, back to the show.
So Rod needs to play the Hunger Games.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're back now, and we're going to revisit a game we played. I don't think it was last episode, but the episode before that. I don't know. It's been a while. Whatever. We're going to revisit the Nerdy Would You Rather game that we played before, where we kind of just laughed our asses off. Mainly because we didn't really have anything else better to do. So here we go. Let's see here. Let's start this off with Nick's question. You want to start this off, buddy?
Yeah. Would you rather be the Doctor's companion or fight crime with Sherlock? And I'm thinking Cumberbatch Sherlock.
Yeah. I love all the nicknames they come up with for him. Cumbersnatch and
Bandersnatch. Crinkly Dink.
Cumberbund.
Cumberbund. Oh, dude, totally Sherlock. Like hands down. Like I know that you'd get to like travel through time and space and do all the timey-wimey, stuff with the Doctor, but you're like, well, I was gonna say you're kind of like his bitch, but with Sherlock, you're pretty much the same.
Go with Sherlock, huh?
Yeah, well,
Sherlock, the Doctor won't call you his bitch. Sherlock will definitely. Call you
you're
bitch.
right.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
accurate.
But still, like, I don't know.
I'm definitely going with
who?
Doctor Companion.
Doctor? Okay.
Yeah.
Same.
Is it okay? Am I the odd man out here?
No, I'm going with Sherlock.
Sherlock
for all the reasons you just said.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Don't want to be made to feel like an idiot.
Plus time travel, aliens.
I don't know. I'm judging based mostly on the fact that I like Sherlock better than Doctor Who. Like,
damn.
Oh, dude, I would want to go with the Doctor, but I am such a big bitch that I would be too scared to do anything.
Aw.
Like, at least with Sherlock, I can stay at, 221B and just do research and shit. And then he can go out and get heroined up in an opium den, and I can just sit there and write articles.
Fucking read.
Wait,
that's right.
Has anybody seen the other Sherlock show?
The
one with Lucy Liu and
yeah.
I saw one episode of it.
Yeah, I watched
it. Really,
is it
really good? I like it a lot.
See, I like Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock, and I also like Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock. The other one
for the show, yeah, I really like Cumberbatch too.
The other one, I mean, no, not for me. Like, I might revisit it sometime because it's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah, give it a chance. It actually gets really good. And Lucy Liu is
she's Watson, isn't she?
Yeah, as Watson is actually great.
That's cool. Okay, all right.
It offers a different dynamic.
Good deal. Ron, let's go to you, buddy.
All right. Would you rather be chosen for the Hunger Games or play Quidditch?
the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games.
That's not how I said it. That's how I typed it, yes, but listeners can't see that.
Under.
Thanks for calling me out, assholes. Answer the fucking question.
I'm gonna need like more information. Like asked to play Quidditch like as a Muggle, or like does it work?
You're just running around the ground on a broom. Quit throwing balls at me, guys. This isn't fair.
I was just saying, like, because for the pure sake of personal safety, and I know Quidditch isn't exactly safe, but they don't get straight up murdered by the other players. So I would have to say Quidditch for me. But I don't know. I have a lot of anger, so maybe the Hunger Games would do me some good.
Oh, I would.
It'd be like a purge.
I would be volunteering tribute for that shit. Choose me, motherfuckers.
You want to go murder some kids?
Okay, they're not all kids.
Yeah, I know.
But
yes,
but they're not mid-30s, late 30s adults.
Some of the people I will be killing are elderly. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
Fans all generations of murder.
Yeah. I don't discriminate.
Murder policy does not discriminate.
Yeah.
I am not an ageist. But no, I picked that because of the comment that you made about Quidditch. Like, yeah, it's a lot safer, so there's less to worry about. Even if they do get hurt, they can use friggin' magic just to heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's less that you have to worry about losing. And with the Hunger Games, there's more that you gain if you win. And if I die, fuck it, I'm at least out of my shitty district.
That's true. That's true. But
that's depressing.
I don't. I just okay. There's a part 2. Like, would you play the Hunger Games with all of us being in it?
Oh, well, I mean, I like you guys, and I don't want to kill you all.
I don't think I could.
I'm saying I don't want to.
And I'm putting you on the spot.
I'd kill you all.
Okay.
Well, that's because you're a heartless fuck. We all know it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So obviously, if in this situation, the first person we have to kill is Nick, and then we can live harmoniously.
Yeah,
you're absolutely 100% right about that.
See,
Drew, I never said I wouldn't kill you. I said I don't want to kill you.
He's also right.
Oh. No,
it's gonna be very difficult winning this game, but
I don't know if I want to play Hunger Games no more.
I would say that we would probably be that group like how it was in the Hunger Games, where they like teamed up until it was clear that they could no longer do so. You know, I feel like that would be us, and we would. Honestly, for me, when it came down to it, I don't think I could. I mean, I would do my best to get us towards the end, and then probably stall everything until they fucking summoned the dogs from the ground or threw fireballs at me. Like, that's probably how I'd go out.
Too much of a softie.
Fireball, yeah.
I like you guys, so I couldn't kill you. Like, people I don't know, well, I could totally kill them. But you guys, I like you for some reason, so...
Let's talk about how much of a psychopath we are, like, as a whole. Like the Purge
so
team.
Quidditch is great.
Quidditch is great, yeah.
That's totally the one I'm choosing. I'm choosing Quidditch.
Yeah, I think I'm going Quidditch too, because I don't want to die.
Also, I know nothing about Hunger Games, so...
Oh, well...
Well, you're hungry, and you kill other kids.
That's fucked up.
Nick, did you ever watch that movie Battle Royale on Netflix?
No, but I've read the comic.
Same concept.
Okay, it's basically the same concept. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it. I'm into it.
But Quidditch, still Quidditch. Yeah, given the choice, I definitely would not choose to kill people. But I think if I had to, I would. But if I have a choice, then I wouldn't. So
go eat your chocolate frogs.
Your booger flavored jelly beans.
Yeah. All right, Drew. How about you, man?
Since we're all in the nerddom here, would you rather be Screech, Saved by the Bell, or Urkel?
Oh, Urkel.
Urkel, definitely.
Yeah, Urkel.
Urkel any day of the week.
There you go.
Because Zach Morris is trash.
And also, didn't, what's his name? What's his name in real life?
Dustin Diamond?
Yeah,
Dustin,
he's like a huge fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a real piece of shit and a drug addict.
He's like a drug addict, alcoholic, dickhead.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Porn star.
Stupid goatee.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Ew.
And he makes Halloween masks.
Does he really?
What?
Yes, he does.
Real people?
Probably.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
That's all speculation. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably true though.
I mean, yeah, I could see it. He probably Leatherface is
Urkel for sure though. He's because
you got
because
at least Urkel gets laid and he becomes Stefan.
Right,
and who wouldn't want to hang out with Carl?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that show.
Yeah, me too. I just got real sad thinking about it.
I did too. I was like, what? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I just grew up or if they got canceled and that. Oh, obviously, obviously it did. But
so then to make this a tad bit more of a question, then would you rather be Urkel or Carlton?
Oh shit!
Urkel is smart and sciencey, but Carlton is got a little bit of charisma.
And
I was going to say, can I beat Urkel with Carlton's dance moves?
No, it's not how this works.
Fuck.
Would you rather not? Let me make the best of both worlds, Miley Cyrus.
Would you rather be Miley or Hannah?
Oh shit, Hannah, because Miley's a whore.
Oh. Boom. No, I'm still going to go with Urkel.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, I'm going Carlton on that one.
No, you can learn the dance from YouTube, man, unless you already know.
No, dude, you can't. But now you're the originator, and Will Smith's like your cousin, and he's your buddy.
Yeah, but you're always treated like shit.
Not Carl, but I have. Yeah, but I've got cool family too. I mean,
all right, we're going to turn this Would You Rather into a versus. Who would win, Urkel or Carlton?
I mean,
That one's gonna be Urkel, because didn't Urkel in one of the episodes build like a super like RoboCop?
God damn right he did.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, it's not really much of a matchup when the dude's like, "Hey man, I built a robot suit and I got guns for arms. You're fucked." Yeah,
Well,
dude,
plus Carlton was, he's a rich bitch, so he wasn't really a fighter.
Yeah, but he could dance and he stood up to racist white people.
Could dance. He had one
That's
move.
true.
That's how he got famous.
Shush!
Yeah, but that one move has been his bread and butter for how many years?
That one move has
Decades?
moved
It
mountains.
still is.
Exactly. It's like 30 years on. He's like still Dancing with the Stars and
I was just about to say
Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, that's a good judge of how famous you are.
Like, now people are like Urkel, and they're like, who the fuck is Urkel? Carlton, they're like, that motherfucker's got a mustache and can fucking dance.
And he's like beefy now too. He's like did some bodybuilding or something.
Really?
Oh, dude, he hosts shows on Game Show Network. Like, that dude's got a career. What's Urkel got? Nothing.
Memories. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, all right.
Wasn't he a host of a show too?
Was he?
Like,
I know he was in like a couple kids movies.
I
don't know.
I have no idea. Honestly, I don't know.
I never paid any attention to him outside of that show.
Jaleel White.
Okay. Well, my question here. Would you rather live once to be 1,000 years old or live 10 times to be 100 years old each time?
Oh, that's weird. I don't like it.
That question makes me uncomfortable.
That one makes him uncomfortable, but when we go, hey man, you gotta kill kids, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna kill some babies.
Okay.
This is the
my only question was,
all you bitches.
What's up?
My question is, every time you die when you're 100, do you remember your previous life, or you just start anew?
I would assume.
You only get to live 10 times.
Yeah, well, I would assume that this is would be a case of kind of like a reincarnation. So you would probably, excuse me, you would probably have like little flickers of your past lives, but you might not directly remember anything. You know what I mean?
I have two things to say about this then.
Okay.
First of all, I never said I'd kill kids. I said I'd kill you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, we're all kids at heart, so it's the same difference.
I said I'd kill you guys. That's different.
That's so much better.
Have you guys watched that documentary? It was about those kids who retained memories from lives they had, like, never lived.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I've read about it.
They knew like intimate details about people that they were claiming to be from like World War II and shit.
Oh,
it's fucking wild.
I've seen stories on it. I don't think I've seen the documentary that you're referring to.
Dude, it's so weird.
So I've read like what was it? Reddit has like the graveyard thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they have it on there where kids are like walking down the street with their parents, and it's like, oh hey, I died there, and then I came to you.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's this documentary, and sorry to kind of detract from
this is
question,
turning into conspiracy night. It's awesome.
It was about like these kids who would freak out, and they were like telling really intimate, really personal details about lives of, you know, this other life that they had lived before. And it's like, wait, what? How do you know all this information about these people? It's like totally fucking wild and bizarre, but it's really interesting, and it kind of tied into what you're talking about.
Is there I'm sure there is, like, generically, but isn't there along those lines a story of a kid who had memories of like a World War II fighter pilot, or like something like I think there was an X-Files episode along those lines too. They they were at some property, and one of the kids, like two people at this, like, I think it was like a cult compound. Two people at this compound were like having memories of like a couple that had lived and died there, but each of them had like inherited the other's memories, and I think it was like a Civil War or Revolutionary War soldier and like his love interest or something like that. But I don't know, man. You're gonna have to find the name of that documentary because that sounds
I'll look it up.
Cool as shit.
So your question was, live one life to be 1,000 years old.
And I think here's the rub of it, and it's probably what might tip the scales here. But like, if you live once to be 1,000, you retain all of the knowledge that you have. But I think that would make sense. So you get to experience.
What was the second half of it?
Or live 10 times to be 100.
Okay.
So you're still getting 1,000 years, but you lose those memories,
and you like restart. But your destiny could change, and like
gotta be like miserable.
Well, are you still in peak physical condition, or are you some decrepit old mummy?
Look how broke down your body is after like 30 years, and now move that to 1,000. We're all 30 here.
Also, do your loved ones and like ever continue living on, or do they kind of stop at some point?
I'd imagine this just applies to you. And,
fuck!
And I would say
you're gonna watch everybody die.
No, I would say that like you take the normal human lifespan as far as aging is concerned, and actually spread it over 1,000 years. Like we think of once you're 100, you're there, but imagine that it's not till you're like 900 where you're there. You know what I mean? Or 950.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So adulthood's more closer to like in your 500s ish.
Well, I would no.
You're an elf now.
We're making this too complicated. No, I would say that you probably like go through adolescence and you get to adulthood, but then that process is stretched over. You're from early adulthood until your death is probably stretched over the remaining hundreds of years.
I'm still going to be okay looking at 700.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna be a mummy. Like that's funny.
This question makes me very uncomfortable.
Well, let's hear the answer. I mean, this is.
I have a lot of thinking about.
All right, we can come back to you, Nick, if you.
I think I'd like to do the. Fuck, I don't know, man.
It's tough, isn't it?
I always live to be 110 times.
Yeah,
I'm leaning towards that one too.
I mean, I couldn't live to be 1,000. Like, even if your like body metabolism and all that slows down to where it stretches like a 100-year-old life out into like a 1,000-year-old life, like that just sounds miserable.
Are you susceptible to like diseaes and like normal life? Like you can just die by gunshot?
Yeah, am I gonna be 1,000 with diabetes? Fuck that. If I go 10 100s, I got at least a chance to not have diabetes in one of my 10 lives.
I gotcha. Well, also think about this. Think about all the technological advances you're going to live through if you're living to 1,000 in one life. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, but imagine that breakthrough that comes through when you're like 999 and 363 days, and that's the one that's like, oh, hey, cure every major disease, and then you die.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Or you do the same thing, but you're on your 10th 100 year, and then they're like, hey, look at this technological advance. You can live 100 more years.
Oh.
I think I'm leaning along the same lines as Drew with the 10 times.
So you guys would rather be born, go through childhood, go through teenage years, go through school all over again, and go through everything. You'd rather do that 10 times.
Well, who's to say I gotta go to school? Maybe I just cut class and become a from the other side of the tracks.
Who knows? If you don't really have memories lingering from your past lives, then who knows how you can turn out. But I'm just saying, like, the current course of society, that's how it would be. You'd go to school, you'd get a career or a job, or you'd be like us and just
it'd be 10 ways to lead 10 very different lifestyles.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's.
But here's the thing: is that you wouldn't have control over it, looking at it from the perspective of, I have 10 lives. You know what I mean?
So basically, how it is now.
I know, but you could potentially live 10 of the same lives.
1,000 years is like a really long time, though. Like you were saying earlier, like you have to watch hundreds of thousands of your friends and family die.
Yeah.
And like you're gonna be like, eventually that is gonna fuck with your head so bad that you're just not gonna be able to function. And eventually someone's gonna figure out, hey man, this dude's been around for like 300 years. Now you're a science project for some fucked up guy with millions of dollars. Elon Musk is like dissecting your brain and shit while you're still alive. Like, yeah, cool, you get to live to be 1,000, but man, your last like 900 years might really suck ass.
Oh man.
But I mean, the 700s were pretty good, right?
I mean, who knows? Maybe society looks at you like, holy shit, you're a monster, and they just decide to
the
fuck with
vampire
you all the time. Yeah.
The 600s is when you really party.
Yeah. I peaked in my 600s.
or on the flip side, I guess, being 1,000 years old, like, if you find some really stupid people, you're a god now.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
So this is looking a little bit more enticing.
Like both of them have their perks, but like, I'm just thinking of like your body through 1,000 years is just, you're gonna be miserable.
See,
like,
I'm miserable now.
Well, yeah, now imagine you're fucking 800 years old instead of whatever you are now.
Well, just take this into account. You retain all of the knowledge that you have as you're growing old to be 1,000. So it's not so much of a gamble to say that, hell, it may take you, a couple decades to achieve, but finally, you're successful. Who knows, maybe 500 years later you decide to give it all up and go a different route, but each time you reincarnate, you don't have any of that knowledge from before. So it's really, do you want to take multiple chances, or do you want to learn from your mistakes in one life and do it?
I'm good with multiple chances.
Okay, all right.
I just couldn't watch like that many people that I love and care about just like die.
So
like, yeah, sure, it's cool. You get to see like changing of like the world, but at the pace we're going, who's to say that's going to be a good thing?
Yeah.
Like, like everyone has an idyllic picture of the future. What's to say that we don't end up with Mad Max style Thunderdome shit going down?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna flip.
But remember, you're fucking like 800. You're 800 years old. You're not fucking.
Yeah, I'm Immortan Joe.
I was just thinking that same thing.
Where's the bad thing? I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that.
All right, so I think we've made good cases. Final verdict from everybody. Ron, what about you?
1,000 years old.
1,000?
Yeah, same.
Nick, okay. Drew,
I changed my mind.
You sticking with
10 by 100?
10 by 100? Yeah, I'm going 1,000 years too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I changed my mind.
Yeah. Okay. God cult. All right.
Did I swing you with that one?
You did. Drew, you totally you talked them into switching their position from yours.
And I'm talking them into it.
Well, I had already was kind of leaning towards 1,000 years, and he just kind of was like, "No, here you go. Yep."
Confirmed it.
And then I just went, "Hey, dude, confirmed Illuminati."
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our second commercial break, and when we get back, we are going to talk about our epic role-playing stories throughout the histories that we have been playing games like this, because that's what it's all about, is having those awesome stories that you can retell. They're kind of like inside jokes, but they're cool, and we're going to talk about it. So stick with us, and we will be back in just a second.
Do you like role-playing games? How about podcasts? How about a podcast about a role-playing game? Check out our friends at Tomorrow's End, a podcast that follows a role-playing group as they navigate through a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Alright, enough fucking words. Here's the trailer.
How did humanity get here? I just can't remember. The rest of the world didn't know why the end had come. They'd heard on the radio about an attack on the states by either Russia or China over dwindling resources. What we knew was that the world was going to end, and a crazy man named Morrow had a plan to save the world. Many teams were frozen in vaults deep underground, safely tucked away from all the bombs and nukes flying, and the asteroid that would finally end everything. They were supposed to wake up 25 years later and help pick up the pieces, but something went wrong, and everyone woke up a lot later, if they woke up at all. Cultists, criminals, madmen, they've been living and thriving through the radiation and destruction the entire time. Some good people also survived. They held on to hope by spreading stories. Stories about tomorrow's end.
And we're back again. We are going to end this episode talking about all of the cool and interesting and maybe funny adventures that we've had in the realms of role-playing. So yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. Ron, why don't you let us know what you wanted to talk about first? What's your story?
All right. Well, I actually have. Well, the first one's not really a story. It's more of a. It's more of a memory. Just when we were on the Livingston House and we were playing Alternity.
Okay.
And I would start doing the Stallone impression.
Yeah.
And you would absolutely lose your shit every time, laughing until you almost peed.
Was that when you were? Oh shit! Was it the?
I can't remember the character, but he wasn't the captain, but he was just he was kind of the dick, you know. He's like, "Hey, what are you talking about over there?"
I remember that. I'm just trying to remember the game because
was Alternity.
I know, but I'm trying to remember like the setting.
Was that the one where it was kind of like Borderlands?
No.
No, we were stuck on some. We were stuck on some ship. I know that, and we were like making repairs to our ship.
Oh, because I know I played like a hillbilly in one of them.
Yeah. That was another Alternity game we played. And Ron, I'm thinking of your lawyer character in the what was it? It was a like kind of like a survival horror type game we played where you were fighting the creatures that escaped on the planet, kind of like Jurassic Park. You were Chase Getz. Remember that character?
Oh yeah, whatever Chase wants, Chase gets.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. I totally forgot about that guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. I remember the Stallone guy. I just don't remember what setting it was in.
I don't either. I
just
remember
accents to characters makes it more fun.
What's that?
Yeah. Oh God.
Adding accents and
fuck yeah, man. I
actually playing along, it brings that whole level to it, which is awesome.
I agree.
Like mine.
Yeah, it's no use role playing if
sometimes.
you're not going to role play.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be myself.
My actual.
It's like when we played the. What was it? Yeah, the first time we played on here, we were playing your Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
And you were trying to do an English accent, and it just sucked ass.
Yeah, I went all over the place. Like I went English, Irish.
You had about 17 different accents in one sentence.
Like I should really just play like a schizophrenic character with multiple personalities and just fucking talk. Like that's That's what happens when I try. I should just do it. So, what's your actual story, Ron?
Oh, okay. So I was playing 5th edition with a group in Grand Rapids. There was a bunch of people who they were first timers, so that's why we did 5th edition, because it's a little bit more user friendly. But I remember specifically one of the girls wanted to play a druid so that she could have a companion. And her companion animal was a friggin' pug. And this little pug was the bane of my existence the whole fucking game. I was playing a Dragonborn warrior. What's that?
I said awesome.
We were in a dungeon. It was a circular dungeon. In the middle was a pit, and then there was basically a level right in the center where you could stand, and there was think of Temple of Doom style. We had to get something off the pillar in the middle.
Okay.
Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Trying to see if you imagine it. So they wanted me as the strongest character to toss this pug into the middle where we were all going to be. Now, the DM, being interesting, decided I had to throw between, I think it was between a 15 and a 18 on the 20-sided dice. And anytime I missed, I basically was tossing this pug across the room. Not hurting it, but really scaring the druid. So... And I had tossed this pug across the room at least 5 times by then, and the DM, he could sense that I was getting frustrated. I rolled my last roll. It was a natural 1. Critical fail. So we played it out where I was so frustrated that I picked up the pug and just dropped it into the pit.
Oh my god.
Poor pug.
I tried 5 times and lost my shit, basically.
How did your druid take that one?
Oh, she was not happy. No. There was a lot of swearing, in and out of character.
Oh man.
That's and great. I think she attacked me, but I can't remember.
All right, that's awesome. That's a good one. That's a good one. Nick, what about you, man?
I have 2 short stories. They're not very good. My memory sucks. But the first one was some friends and I were playing Star Wars, D20 Star Wars a while ago. It was me, my buddy Clayton, and Jesse. And I was actually playing a female character for a change, which was different for me.
Ooh la la.
I know. Ooh. And so I was a female Twi'lek, and Clayton was a male, and our characters were actually a couple.
Ooh.
And by the end of the game,
After Dark.
At the end of the game, what had happened was Jesse's character ended up killing everybody, and I think my character was
that just makes sense,
right?
knowing Jesse.
My character was the one character of all of them escaped at the very last session for this campaign, and it had been revealed that my character got pregnant by our friend's character. And then 6 months down the road, we reopened this game and we played as the children of our other characters from the other game. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
It was totally atypical, not anything we had ever played before. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. That's awesome.
That is pretty sweet.
And then Drew, I don't know if you were in this or remember this, but we were in another game that Jeremy ran, and it was Savage World. And my character was called, I think, a Glitter Boy. Or he was one of those weird characters, but
what's a Glitter Boy?
I don't remember.
Okay.
There's these different classes. You actually need to look them up because they're fucking awesome.
I have a picture in my head, and I don't know if it's accurate or not. So
I think glitter boys were like these giant robotic mech suits.
Totally not where I was.
No, not at all what I imagined either. But my character, in my head, everything in the outside world was like sunshine and rainbows and like this perfect, like goofy, cartoony world.
Uh-huh.
But when it actually came to it, like everything was on fire and like hell and just terrible. And I was like this ray of sunshine all the time. And so we killed this group of like orcs or something, and I used their heads as like puppets. And everybody was just kind of looking at me like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, what is happening? I'm like, just playing the character. But if you ever get a chance, look up Meet the Pyro from Team Fortress 2.
Oh, yeah, okay.
See, that's kind of the character I was trying to achieve, so.
God, those videos are old.
Yeah, that was the inspiration behind that character. It was just a lot of fun and really silly.
I don't remember that game, but I think that's the one where I was the guy and I had a gun for an arm.
Yeah. You may have been the glitter boy. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I think that's that game. I don't remember what we did in it, but I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Shit. Okay. Was that you had two?
That was it.
Right? That was it. Okay.
Yeah, those are the two. Yep.
Dude, I have not even considered doing like a generational game. Like you were talking about the first one, how you played like the kids of your other characters.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. Like because we took a break from the game and then picked it back up like 6 or 8 months later.
Jesus.
And just played as the generation next, and it was really cool.
It's a really cool idea.
I've had that happen once where a DM like brought back our characters from previous games just to meet the characters that we were playing.
That's cool.
But they were like obviously
really
much
cool.
older, which is really neat.
I like that.
That's neat. See, I think our problem with at least when I'm a part of games, like we don't get to a point where we play more than like I think the longest running. I mean, I'll get to my story too, but there's only been one campaign, and I say campaign because it was actually like, and I even came in the middle of it, but there was one where it was like we were meeting semi-regularly, and we actually got somewhere, and like that was. Everything else has been like 1 or 2 shots, you know, and we kind of go through, and you know, because when it comes to role playing, a lot of the times the beginning of the adventure is really exciting and fun because everyone's figuring out their characters and they don't know where the story's headed or anything like that. So it's a lot of fun to keep the energy up by just creating a new game and going with it. But I really long for something that we do more than once or twice, but
agreed.
Life does not always permit that now, especially now that we're in our 30s. Okay. Drew, what about you, man? What stories of harrowing adventure do you have to tell?
One I just thought of because of Nick. We were playing Savage Worlds, and it was Jeremy. No, it was Jeremy, Brandon, Chris, myself, and Nick. We were in like the Amazon jungle or something, and we were recovering this like statue, and like this whole game was just like beating the piss out of us, and like the worst thing you can do in like Savage Worlds, and this one was like roll double 8s. Like that was the same as rolling a nat 1. Like it was the worst.
I was gonna ask that.
so like we're going through the whole game, and like all Chris is doing is rolling double 8s like the whole time.
He would.
And like the whole time, just every roll was like double 8s. Something bad would always happen.
I felt so bad.
Oh, it was terrible. But we get to the very end, and we're like escaping. Like we get in like this plane, and we're flying away. and like, we're all making our rolls to make sure we're okay. Everyone's good. Gets to Chris, double 8s. So this character in this plane, like he like stands up and he looks out the window. He's like, "Guys, I think we're gonna be okay." And like the whole plane just gets like ripped with gunfire. Like the whole thing just gets shot to shit. Oh my god! Like he didn't die. We made sure he didn't die, but like it was just like the cinematic closing of it was just like, guys, we're gonna be okay, and then shit show.
Good deal.
Oh.
Chris has a knack for being highly entertaining in games, and I actually have a story to tell about him when I get to
he does.
So,
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. You got another one?
The only other gaming one I can think of is, well, not that I can think of, but the one that popped into mind was, I think it was one of the very first times I met you, Wes. We played 2nd edition in your basement.
Uh-huh.
And Joe was there. Mason Mormon Joe. And
Mason Mormon.
Yeah. Throughout the game, he picked up this like little boy as like a trainee, I think it was, or something.
Yep,
I remember this.
And we're playing, and all of a sudden, like, we got through this whole battle, and then Joe's like,
you're fighting goblins.
Yeah, he picked up a goblin, and he was like, "All right, boy, I'm gonna teach you how to flay a goblin."
Yeah,
like,
just completely out of nowhere.
Wrong. You have to cut him here for maximum pain. Like, it was the most fucked up thing I'd ever done, and that was my introduction to like you guys as a role playing group. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was great.
I remember Doug was there and he was a gnome, and it was the funniest shit.
Yeah, it was. I remember laughing our asses off. We barely played once we really got into it because of that.
I remember that.
He's like David the gnome. He had a voice and a face. Yeah, it was just fucking. It was great.
Yeah. Oh man, I missed that. Yep. Joe's very interesting in games. Like he when I was first introduced to full blown D&D, it was like playing with Joe and some of his friends who later became my friends. We all went to school together. Yeah, he normally DMs, but when he's a player, he knows all the tricks to like exploit when you're DMing and he's playing. So it's always fun. He'll I don't want to say he'll break your game, but like if you
he'll break your game.
He'll break your game if you let him.
If you let him, and like he almost provides like the challenge for the DM to overcome, as opposed to the DM giving players a challenge to overcome. So but
it makes me sad that he is like in here, but he has everything muted and silent, so he can't hear any of the things we're saying about
him. He did. Oh, I forgot. I know he muted his mic, but yeah, he doesn't.
he muted his mic and he turned off his headphones, so it's like.
Yeah.
Jeremy is also really notorious for that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think any person who's primarily used to being a DM or GM or whatever you want to call them are interesting players.
Storyteller.
Yeah. So I have 3 stories here. One of them is real quick. It's kind of more of a you had to have been there type of deal, but I'm going to talk about it anyway just because I thought it was this has been kind of a long running inside joke between our circle of friends for a long time. But let's see here. Someone mentioned the Livingston house. Yeah, for those of you out there who don't know, it was just a previous residence of mine that we used to play at and everything like that. So we're there, and out in the garage shed hybrid type deal, we're playing on a ping pong table. and Chris was there. I don't know if Nick, I don't know if you were there or not. You probably remember this story at least, but I don't remember anything about the story. And like I said, this is just a quick little thing, but it ended up being like Chris got like really hyper sometimes late at night while we were playing, and it was just how we were when we were younger, like that. So he ended up getting this magic scroll that appeared in the back of his backpack, and he thought that the DM, which I could have swore it could have been Joe even, but
I know what you're talking about now.
But this magic scroll appeared in Chris's backpack, and he was so like hyper, he didn't hear that it was a squirrel or a scroll, and he thought it was a squirrel. So he flipped out and as his character and everything, and he tossed it way far away.
He was like, squirrel,
yeah. And then for the rest of the night, like he was always kind of like that, because yeah, it was. We have this term that we've coined for Chris called tarking, and basically it's just a play on Chrisism. Yeah, it's a Chrisism. Again, it's a you had to have been there, but one of Chris's Chrisisms is during the same game he was like talking in character to somebody else, and he was like, when you're role playing, sometimes you can get pretty into it and serious, where you actually like start yelling as your character or shouting or pretending to shout or anything like that. You can get into some like passionate role playing, and everything like that. Well, he's doing this, and I don't know how it came up, but he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, your sword is sharp like mine isn't," and it's just like it didn't make any sense whatsoever. But so yeah, and then we kept making fun of him for it, and then that's where he ended up saying, "It's not my fault, I can't tark right," and it was just like like one thing after another, and he just kept fucking up, and that was that was a had to have been their moment, but like
it's still funny.
It has followed him to this day, and if he were here, he would.
God damn it.
He would, yeah.
Now it's documented.
Yeah, it is. So
one of the worst people for that is Peterson.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Just the funny moments that happen from him trying to talk and explain something, and then he just is fucking fat-tongued and can't say anything right.
Having him and Chris in the same room with that, like, it's just comedy gold, and I love them both dearly, but man.
I know.
I wish they were here, because I feel kind of bad about it, but at the same time, it's just like, some of my favorite moments are like him saying something stupid, and we all just go,
"Oh.
What?"
It was always so funny. It always cracked me up to the point where, like, I couldn't breathe because I was laughing. And I love them both for that.
So I got one more funny story, and then a just kind of cool commentary on a game that I think most of us were in, except for Drew. But except for Drew, yeah. So we have a friend named Kyle, and we used to play D&D with Kyle all the time. And Kyle had always, like, you find when you start role-playing with a group for so long that a lot of people in your group will gravitate towards the same roles. And Kyle always played a rogue or a thief. And so after so long of doing that, we all decided that we would try something different, or at least he did. So he decided to be a wizard. And this was back, we were playing 2nd edition D&D, and wizards in 2nd edition D&D are uber powerful, and a lot of the things dealing with spells are handled a lot differently than they are in future editions. So we didn't quite follow them exactly. We just kind of made it simple and easy. I think I was DMing, but anyway, the group they were going through this dungeon, and Kyle, his wizard, ended up getting stuck in a spider web, and Nick,
I remember this.
you remember? Yeah, he ended up getting stuck in a spider web. So.
I remember this completely.
And nothing else was happening, but he was trying to figure a good way to get out of it. I don't think the rest of the group was with him, or they were like across a drop away or something like that. They couldn't get to him, so he had to figure out how to get out himself. So what he ended up doing was he ended up casting a spell called Grease. And second edition grease spell is just what it sounds like. You just spray grease everywhere, and it's meant to kind of trip up your enemies. They can slip, or you can use it to grease a piece of machinery or something like that. Well, he decided to cast it on himself, hoping to be able to wiggle out of this spider web. Well, the way he rolled, he cast it, but he was unsuccessful in getting out. So what ended up happening is I kind of tried to, as the DM, tried to speed things along a little bit and kind of add a sense of urgency to it. So I had a giant spider start crawling towards him. And when he saw this spider, he freaked out and he was like, okay, well, I'm going to attack the spider. And so he cast Fireball at the spider.
Oh, no.
Which was above him. So he rolled perfectly on that. The spider erupts into flames and drops down onto him, covered in grease, and that was pretty much it for Kyle's wizard. Or it would have been if we had actually killed characters off. We didn't really do that very often, but yeah, he lit himself on fire. So
I remember that, and I remember.
Yeah, we gave him shit for the longest time for that to him too. So the last story here actually involves Joe again. Like I said, I played a lot of games with Joe growing up, and he always ran the game, so it gave me some good experience as a player and everything like that. And I had actually joined in midway or a little bit after the beginning, a few sessions after this campaign had started, and I had he had made pre-made characters, and mine was a wizard named Edwin. And Nick, I know you remember this game. This was at Joel's shop.
You're gonna have to tell me more about it, because
okay. Let's see here. Chris's character was a male who found a gauntlet of gender changing, so he was a female, and then
that game.
And then eventually he became a sword. So yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. All right, Ron, you got to go. All right, man. Have a good night, man. We're almost
and I wasn't there for that, but I do remember hearing that story a couple times, and I remember fucking laughing my ass off about it.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, guys. It was fun.
We'll see you.
Bye.
So, what we the whole I don't really remember a whole lot of what was going on in the game, but I remember my character was Edwin, the wizard, and he was pretty frail, like most wizards are, and I had this idea that I wanted to be someone who had like the power of a wizard, but was really kind of hesitant to use it, and he was more interested in like gathering knowledge and whatnot. Like I think my character was like best friends with Brandon's character, who was also in that game. He was a thief, and together these two were like a team that, you know, I would cast like invisibility spells on him and shit like that, and we would, you know, I would help him rob stuff as long as wherever we were breaking into like held like a special book or an artifact that I wanted to study or just to have. Like the character wasn't really interested in money or treasure or anything like that. He just wanted to collect things, and which I guess is what you could say most thieves want to do. But anyway, I
remember this.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is, I don't know whether Joe was getting frustrated at my, what do you call it? Passivism. passivity. I don't know, but he ended up like just all of a sudden ramping up and started giving my character all these awesome things. Like, I think eventually at one point I had my own wizard's tower with a library filled with like all the spell books that I could want, and it was like ridiculous. Like, I got like a special staff and everything like that, but I kept like not using it. So like and I just remember like for me as a player, I wasn't doing it to like frustrate him or anything like that, but for me as a player and playing that character is still going to go down as one of my favorite characters of all time that I've ever played, in that he had all this power and all this temptation, but he chose not to use it. And the spells that he did choose were more stuff like unlock door or light spells, and I wouldn't stay completely like I don't know, like not involved with combat. Like, I think magic missile and everything like that, I would use that. But the way that Joe runs games and the way that he runs magic especially is magic is devastating in Joe's games. Like fireball, like I gave my example of Kyle using fireball against a spider, and they were in a dungeon in an enclosed room. If that were Joe's game, then everybody in the room would have been dead. The spider would have been dead. Everybody in the room would have been dead, and anybody like 2 floors up would have felt like the concussion from it, and that was cool. And what that did was it gave me. It gave me Joe's in chat right now. He's listening now. But what that did was that gave me this
spider sense was tingling.
Yeah, it gave me this huge sense of like not really responsibility, because my character was nowhere near responsible, but like it gave magic like it deserved to be respected because of how powerful it was in this game. And so eventually what ended up happening was eventually I like even in my mind as a player, the more we played, the more I was like, I'm going to use fireball. Like, the more I kept thinking about it, and I kept thinking about it, and it kept like gnawing away at me. Like, I had this power, and I felt guilty for having it, because not everyone in the game had all the shit that I had, and I felt a little guilty about it, but I just kept not using it, but I kept wanting to. And I think what ended up happening is towards the end of our play sessions, maybe not the end of the story, but as far as the end of our play sessions went, it finally got to a point where Edwin finally had to use fireball. And I burnt down an entire town with it, just one. And so it was just like, to me, I mean, again, I felt guilty because I felt like maybe like the game was like just for me, but but I didn't try and take advantage of that. But it was just like that's probably like the most epic story that I've been involved in, just because of my own character development through that, and like the mind tricks that I had to, or the mental gymnastics I had to go through to keep myself from using this immense power. and then finally, once I end up using it, it ends up doing all of that damage. And that was about, I think we maybe played one session after that, and for whatever reason never came back to it. But it will forever remain like my top one game of all time that I've ever been in. So
thanks. That's awesome. I just remembered another one that I think is really funny that Drew actually ran, and it was a one night, one shot, like couple of hours game. It was very short, very fun, but it was a cowboy western themed game.
Sidewinder?
And yeah, were you there for that?
We're gonna be playing that here later
were
this
you there
month.
for that?
No, I wasn't. It was
fantastic.
Drew told me about it, so.
But I don't remember the full premise behind it, but escort.
We were part of a wagon train doing a Oregon Trail-esque adventure across the country.
Nice.
And we eventually, get to our destination, and I think Jeremy was one of the characters, and Brandon was the other character.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the night, we both pointed our guns at Jeremy's character. And I remember laughing, and it was just the funniest goddamn thing. The look on his face, this look of betrayal.
It was bad. Hey, you guys, you straight up stabbed him in the back so hard.
It was really fucked up. Because Brandon and I didn't rehearse this at all. It came naturally. And we were gonna split the loot and all this, and then Brandon and I look at each other. We look at Jeremy because he was a Native American, and I was this gunslinger from
You said you were like a Tom Hardy looking.
Think Charlie Prince from 3:10 to Yuma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he and I look at Jeremy, look at each other. We look at Jeremy, just point our guns right at Jeremy. It was so fucked up, and it was so funny, and just the look of sheer terror and betrayal was my favorite thing.
Jeremy was a politician, and his whole thing was I gotta get to this town. I'm gonna be the mayor. And
that sounds like him.
He got there, and it was a setup, and
we fucked him.
It was great. You fucked him so hard. Well, I remember the same thing in that game. I was running it in the very first combat encounter, the very first night out of the fort. The very first roll I had to shoot, I think it was shooting Jeremy, was a nat 20, and it was with a flintlock rifle from point blank. It would have killed him. I had to flip it. I killed his horse, and he got really pissed at me for killing his horse until I explained to him that I could have killed him and ended his game right then and there. But
to be fair, a lot of the games that he's ran, as the first sessions, okay, you're barely struggling to stay alive. That's the opening.
Yeah.
You're hanging on by a thread. Let's see how you guys get through this first session.
That's great. Like I said, I think I mentioned this before, but when we were growing up role-playing, we never killed off characters. I mean, we always killed off NPCs and obviously enemies, but we never killed off characters.
Jesus Christ, that has changed so much.
Yeah. I think I mean, obviously it was always meant to be this way, but the amount of time you put into creating a character, just to have it all go up in smokes because of some bad rolls early on in the night, I know it happens. And kudos to you guys if everyone out there listening, if you guys play this way. But whenever I was running a game, I was well, that was a waste, so I'm not gonna have that happen. But again, along those same lines, I remember again another campaign, or at least another game with Joe running it. I think it was Joe, and our friend Jared Everetson. I name dropped there, but he won't care. He was, I forget what character he was playing, but he had all these goblin bombs. Yep, Joe, goblin bombs, and so Jared is the type of player who I think he decides really early on in a scenario, whatever you're in, what he's going to do, and then regardless of what else happens before he's able to do it, he's just going to do it at that point when he can.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and so we were in some tower or castle or keep or something like that, and he decided, again, this is one of Joe's games. Oh, it was a cave. Okay, Joe says it was a cave, but it was again. It's one of Joe's games. So where magic stuff and magic items and everything like that, they're not to be fucked around with. And so Jared decided to run into this room, and I'm not doing this story justice because I don't really remember the context of it. He was trying to kill somebody, obviously, but so he ran into the room and tossed down a goblin bomb or two or something like that, and then Joe had him roll all the damage, and or ogres. He was trying to kill ogres. Thanks, Joe. But we ended up rolling all the damage, and it would have ended with Jared getting killed, the enemies getting killed, basically similar to what my fireball in the other game would have done, but like to whoever was in the room or outside of it or near it or down the hall from it, like they would have been gone too. But anyway, ran all the damage from it, and then Joe asked, "So do you really want to do that?" so yeah, yeah, that was kind of.
It's never good when the DM or GM goes, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I remember laughing my ass off because it took like a good, couple minutes there to roll all the rolls and tally up all the damage and describe what was going on. And at the very end, Joe was just like, "So do you really want to do that?" And then, yeah, it was just, yeah. But back to my point that I was trying to make was that, not really a point, but, we start off going through characters where you don't want to kill your characters, and then later on, you realize that facing death is part of what makes the game fun, and then you start losing characters left and right. So, yeah, I remember some games where we would act. Nick, you remember this? You were playing with them long before I was, but at Scott's house, when we would we would light character sheets on fire after our characters died. So
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that's about all I can draw on, unless someone would have to be talking for it to bring up other memories. But yeah,
got one more.
Got one more? Okay,
just thought of.
Let's do one more, then we'll call it a night, because I think we're making good time.
I just remember we were playing Jeremy's Dark Tides game. I think Nick was there.
Yeah.
We were in Texas, and Chris went so far down that rabbit hole looking up what was it? Yeah. It's like, I think one of the first times we gamed together, but like Chris went so far down this like rabbit hole. Jeremy had picked it as like a throwaway thing.
Dude, this is fucked up actually.
and
Jeremy went far down the rabbit hole too.
They both just like instantly like this is where everything was leading to. It was like a red herring kind of thing, I think. And like all of a sudden it was just like, this is the main arc now, because Chris put so much work into it, like in one session. The whole session was like, he's got like Wikipedia open and he's Googling this dude, like real world, looking up shit, looking up towns like in Texas where this stuff all actually happened. And like, like it was just, he was so far down the rabbit hole. It was hilarious.
That's great.
And then the other one is, I think, I don't know, were you there, Nick, when we were doing the post-apocalyptic game? Wow, that was terrible. The post-apocalyptic game. Yeah, it is. And at Jeremy's house, at his old house in Twin Lake, when they were looking up where they were Googling
sites,
nuclear silos.
Dude, and then the van followed him.
Oh, that was that one?
Yeah, that was.
It was like we were looking up like nuclear silo sites near like Whitehall, Michigan.
Jesus Christ. And then like Jeremy had like, he's got pictures of it. It's not a surveillance van.
Yeah, it's the white van. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big white van, and it followed him around for the day. Like,
yeah, he for those of you who don't know, Jeremy and Peterson are the same person, and we'll leave it at that. But but he told us that story back in season 1 during our conspiracy night. As far as
did he?
The van following him around and everything like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that one. I don't remember.
If you ever see the original Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren, there's a character in that movie by the name Wildor. That's basically Jeremy.
Okay.
Jeremy's a ginger troll.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Well, anybody else have anything else to add before we wrap this shit up?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right.
I have one more.
You got one more? All right, real quick, man. Go for it.
Sorry, this was problematic. Okay. Nick, do you remember when, were you playing the Star Wars D6 game with us at Jeremy's old house with Corey?
I think so.
When we just abandoned his character and made him the guardian of a seal planet and just dropped him on, like, a small atoll?
That I don't remember.
Oh, man. He was pissing us off, and his character was like, I don't remember what he was. It was something like super loyal. We dropped him on an atoll until his new job was to protect the seals. Left his character, like, took our ship, left, gone.
We also played another Star Wars game where we were all, what is Jar Jar Binks' race?
Gungans.
We were all Gungans.
Oh my god.
And we all spoke like that the entire time. And
that sounds horrible.
It was great. That was a great game.
Oh my god.
That was fun.
No. Oh shit. Okay. That's gonna give me nightmares tonight thinking about. Okay guys, well thanks for sticking it out. We are ending a little bit early tonight, but we started almost on time. But yeah, so those of you out there listening, thanks for sticking it out with us, and make sure to check out our website at www.tbdpod.com. We are going to have a new sponsor here shortly, a t-shirt company, which I will have to double check the name of it before I name drop it on here, but I'll be inserting a commercial for that. They made us some sweet ass bumper stickers, and so yeah, we're going to be advertising for them on our show, and it's not Ship a Dick. I don't know what happened to that, but
they quit talking to me for some reason.
They quit talking to Drew. So.
They quit returning emails.
Yeah,
I off the map.
They no longer want to ship a dick this way. So
guess not.
Yeah, so sad face. All right, so until next time, nerds, have a good night.
I was waiting for the exit music and it's not coming because fucking Tucci's not here.
I know. Tucci's always like, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, Joe's here now.
Oh, Joe's here now? Yeah.
You didn't hear him?
Oh, I did.
Very deep, manly voice that went hello.
Yeah. Well, this part's still on the recording until just now.